My advice for anyone who is in Canada on a temporary visa, meaning you're on a study permit or you're on a work permit, my advice to you is to not travel outside of Canada unless you absolutely have to. Now, what am I talking about? Now, recently there's been a significant change within the immigration process in Canada that not many people have heard about and not many people talking about it. Now, the change really gives border service agents the opportunity to revoke your temporary status, meaning that if you're on a study permit or a work permit and you're coming back into Canada, the border service agent now has the responsibility to make sure that they are vetting you all over again, including identifying whether or not you are going to be leaving Canada upon the completion of that temporary document. Now, when you usually get those documents in the past, you are given a multiple entry visa, which means that typically you are legally able to come back into the country, and you don't usually go through a lot of scrutiny previously, but now that has changed. Now, this is in line with the UK and Australia and many other jurisdictions which has been doing this for a long time. But Canada has just recently made a change. So if it is that you're on a study permit or a work permit, the chances are you might not be able to come back into Canada because the border service agent is gonna be vetting you all over again to see whether or not you're gonna be leaving the country upon the completion of that document and a number of other facts. Now, what does this mean? Personally, if you guys have been following my channel for a while, you guys would have heard me say a lot of times that, listen, when I was a temporary resident, I was not planning on leaving Canada at all. But that's just me. Everybody's situation is different. Now that I'm a permanent resident is when we are now looking to making our travel plans and so forth, so on, which still somewhat affects your citizenship in terms of time spent in Canada. But at least at the border, you're not going to be given that scrutiny anymore. But as a temporary resident, it is always the underlying fact that you are always temporary and you are not necessarily guaranteed to be let back into the country if you decide to leave. Now, this has now been made into a rule. The border service agents are going to be now paying close attention to persons who have those temporary documents and decide whether or not, oh, that sun is beautiful. The border service agents are now going to be paying very close attention to determine whether or not these persons or these temporary permit holders should be permitted back in Canada. So my question is, why would you want to put yourself into that position unless you absolutely have to? But what do you guys think about this as well? Do you guys think that there are just so many changes and then can ease up off the brakes now a little bit and just kind of like just let things kind of free flow a little bit? Or do you think that there's more changes to come? What do you guys think? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm really curious to know what you guys think about it. And of course, this also include visitors visa holders as well. So it means that if you have a visitor's record, for example, that allows you to stay in Canada for a little while, and you travel outside of Canada, you might not be able to come back as well if the visa officer think that you are not going to be leaving Canada upon completion of that document. Or even if you have a visitor's visa and you're just traveling, they have the right now to can revoke your visitor's visa at the border, which is very strange because I actually thought that this was something that was actually happening already, but apparently not. It's just now made into a rule, and this is one of the changes that immigration has pretty much made, which is kind of like being swept under the carpet, a little bit. But scary times, guys, very scary times. And I think the reason why we're not hearing much more changes in the immigration space is because Parliament is pretty much paused right now, and because of the whole political thing that's going on in Canada right now with the changing of the Prime Minister and election coming up and all of these things. So I think there's going to be more changes. So again, guys, I implore you, if you're here as a temporary resident, I know it's not really in your control, because if all of you guys could have gotten PR yesterday, you would have gotten it already. But I want to implore you guys to please be looking into different options that you can get your permanent residency as quickly as possible, because a lot of things are changing, and they're changing pretty quickly. They're changing pretty quickly, guys. And as I did a video before, not everybody who's in Canada right now on a temporary visitor's temporary visa status is going to be able to get permanent. So the fittest are the fittest. The persons who are proactive in going out there and making sure that they are putting themselves in the best position are the ones who are going to be successful. There's over 5 million estimated temporary residents in Canada at the moment, and immigration numbers is only 1 million, 1.2 million persons are going to get permanent residency over the next couple of years. So there's millions of people who's potentially not going to get permanent residency. So please do not procrastinate. Please do not wait. Do not think that there's nothing you can do. Do your research, put yourself in a position to make sure that as soon as something becomes available, you are jumping at it. Look into the different provincial nomination programs. Every province has their own little mini immigration stream. Look into the different provinces, see where you can fit, see where you can align yourself, and be flexible. Do not feel like you are rooted and grounded in a particular province. Do not feel like you are rooted and grounded in a particular city. Do what is best for you and your family if permanent residency is a goal. Otherwise, it makes no sense, right? But things are changing right now, and as you guys can see, the world is just at that place right now where it's just very uncertain. Not just in Canada, but the world in general. It feels like we're living in uncertain times. So we don't know what tomorrow is going to hold. We don't know what the future is going to hold. There's so many things that's changing. And even myself as permanent resident, like, I can't sit here and say that I am exempted from thinking about immigration, because it's just like a stroke of a pen and everything is changed. Everything can change with just like a stroke of a pen. So none of us are really safe. But the fact of the matter is, you're a little safer as a permanent resident, as a temporary resident. So put yourself in the best position to be successful, I'd say, definitely. And be aware, if you're on a temporary visa status, international student, visitor's record, temporary workers permit, you guys know what I'm talking about. Please, unless you absolutely have to travel outside of Canada, my advice would be to stay put. Stay put and work at the immigration journey before traveling becomes a part of your priority. I know that somebody's probably watching this video and be like, yo, Dems, you can't say that, you can't tell more for do, or you can't. Listen, I'm just giving you my advice. I'm not telling anybody what to do and what not to do. I'm just letting you know that the possibility exists now that if you leave Canada on a temporary visa status, you might not be allowed back in. And that's a rule that's been recently changed. Border service agents can now decide that they are going to revoke your permit at the border just on the fact that they think that you're not going to leave Canada upon completion of your study, upon expiration of your documents, and a number of different factors. So that level of scrutiny wasn't always been there. What was there before is border service agents had to make sure that the purpose why you're coming to Canada is the exact reason what you're going to be doing. Like if you say you're coming as an international student, they just want you to demonstrate that you're going to actually be going to school. Or if you're coming to work, they just want you to demonstrate that now you're actually coming to work, vice versa. Like they wanted you to just prove that you're coming for the reason you mentioned. Now, that in addition to the fact that now that you have to prove to them that you're going back home, you have to prove to them a myriad of different factors. I wouldn't risk it. That's all I am saying. But to each his own. That's what I'd like to say. Of course, what we do over here is to just bring you guys the changes, the updates, and the way of life as things happen. So as it happened, I share it with you guys. If you guys want to be here to see any other updates in the future, please subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, of course, and leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know if they are getting a little bit extreme now, or if it's just the way the world is at the moment. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, guys. Until next time, see you guys in the next